Hello there, welcome back. Okay, so now at this point, I hope that you do have your Realize Reader open, that you've logged into Pearson, you have your Realize Reader open, and you are ready to go. Okay, so the paragraph that I want to look at for our fourth read in your Realize Reader is paragraph number 28, okay? So go ahead and take a second to just scroll down to paragraph 28 and get ready to sort of highlight and annotate as we go, okay? So I'm gonna give you like 5 seconds to go ahead and get down into paragraph 28, okay? And they are numbered on the left side, I believe. So I'll just wait. We're almost done here, guys. Almost done. Okay. So we're going to look at paragraph 28, and we're really going to be looking at, surprise, surprise, are you taking a shot of soda every time I say purpose, point of view, or essay? You should be. Okay, we got to have a little fun in our lives, right? All right, so we are looking at purpose and point of view. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm looking at my screen right now and my Realize Reader, and I'm going to go ahead and just read this quote one time all the way through, and then I will tell you how I highlighted and what I found interesting about this particular quote and why I want you to look at it, okay? This is the quote. But all this happened 3,000 miles away from Britain, and as a result, it has been possible for it to quietly disappear from British mainstream history. This is the absence, the gap in knowledge, the amnesia of the British that made the black man on the bus such an alien. It is unthinkable that a book on American history could leave out plantation slavery in the southern states. So what she's saying here is, when we study history, right, in the US, here in America, you study slavery. I'm not saying that we study it in the best way possible. I think we gloss over Black History Month and we gloss over Black history in general a lot in American education. However, we look at it, right? You have students in the US who 100%, everybody knows slavery happened. There's nobody out there, like the Holocaust deniers that are out there saying that slavery never happened in the US, right? And she's saying, a book on America would never, a history book on America would never leave out that slavery existed. It's unthinkable. It really is. If you were ever in a history class and your history teacher was like, I'm sorry, slavery, I've never heard of that. That never happened. You would be pretty disturbed, right? So what she's saying is, but wait, English history overlooks the slavery that happened in the Caribbean. She's saying English history does not want to mention that there was slavery in the Caribbean. Why? It's in that first sentence. So we're going to go ahead and look at that first sentence of that quote, and we're going to go ahead and highlight it. So I highlighted the sentence, but all this happened 3,000 miles away from Britain. I highlighted that, okay? And as a result, it has been possible for it to quietly disappear from British mainstream history. So this is what we call cultural amnesia. It is when an entire society forgets something ever happened. And yes, it really happens. It is a phenomenon that is very alive and well. Being from Argentina, there's a lot of history that is just blatantly forgotten. The fact that we did have slavery in Argentina as well, no one admits to it. It just never happened. So this is possible. The fact that an entire nation could just forget that something happened or pretend that nothing happened, right? So she's saying because this all happened on Caribbean soil, not on actual British soil, that it's easy for everybody to just forget, right? And she's using her experience to reveal something here, okay? This absence. So I also went in and I highlighted this, I highlighted the word absence. And then right after that, I highlighted the words gap in knowledge. And I highlighted the word amnesia. So these three phrases, to me, really highlight what the purpose is here. I'm gonna give you like 2 seconds, and I want you to just, actually not 2 seconds, like 5 to 10 seconds. And I want you to just review the things we highlighted. So we highlighted the sentence, but all this happened 3,000 miles away from Britain. Then we highlighted the phrase, the word absence. We highlighted the phrase gap in knowledge, and we highlighted the word amnesia. Okay? So take a look at those phrases that we highlighted and just ruminate on that for just a second, okay? So take a moment and think about her purpose here. What do these words lead you to believe is her purpose? Okay, and right now I want you to pretend that I'm actually right in front of you and I'm like breathing down your shoulder and telling you to answer me. And I want you to answer the question. What do you think her purpose, by looking at just this quote, right? Looking at just this quote and looking at the phrases that we highlighted so far, what do you think is her purpose for writing this essay? So I'm just gonna awkwardly stare at you. Okay. Thank you for answering, Hen. Okay. So now let's go ahead and go in and let's highlight a little bit more here, okay? So I also highlighted this phrase, disappear from British mainstream history. So let's look back at that quote and let's highlight that term, disappear from British mainstream history. Okay, so we've got this absence, the gap in knowledge, the amnesia, and now we've got this disappearance, right? And then let's go down to the last sentence there. It is unthinkable that a book on American history could leave out plantation slavery in the southern states. And let's highlight that last sentence beginning with the word book and ending with the word states, okay? Take a minute and highlight. Okay. So now that we're all highlighted here, let's take a look at the purpose. Now, I've had you answer. Now I'm going to tell you what I think. So I believe her purpose for writing this essay was to re-educate. She's re-educating. She's saying history left us out of this, right? History left this entire thing out. So I'm going to reestablish this. I'm going to re-educate you, and I'm going to fill this gap, fill this absence, and sort of rethink this cultural amnesia. So her purpose, in my opinion, is to educate and to fill in this gap of knowledge that she talks about in this paragraph, right? So if her purpose here is to educate people on the blatant racism and the colonialism that happened in the Caribbean, where do you see that her point of view comes into play? I remember I said that point of view leads to the purpose. So where in this paragraph, just in this one paragraph, do you see her point of view come into play? And I want you to really take a look at this little quote. I'm going to read it one more time. And I want you to take a second and just think about where her point of view comes into play. If her purpose is to educate, okay? But all this happened 3,000 miles away from Britain, and as a result, it has been possible for it to quietly disappear from British mainstream history. This is the absence, the gap in knowledge, the amnesia of the British that made the black man on the bus such an alien. It is unthinkable that a book on American history could leave out plantation slavery in the southern states. Where did you see her point of view? You got it? Okay. So I think her point of view was the black man on the bus being an alien. That was her personal experience. Nobody has that experience except the other white people on the bus and the actual black man. And so far as we know, they haven't written about this particular experience yet. So this is her point of view. And if her purpose is to educate, to bring this into the light, to fill that absence, that gap in knowledge that British, white people have, then her point of view, her experience, this personal moment is what led to her purpose. Okay? Good.